Hello friends, welcome or welcome back to 8 Moon Phases. My name is Chivis and today we are on the other side of the room. Today is day 16. The countdown is on. We are down to single digit numbers. Are you ready? I kind of feel like I am, but I kind of feel like I'm not. It's a rush. It's a rush, especially from now until Friday, because that is when I have to get a lot of the things done because I go on vacation on winter break. So super excited about that. As I mentioned yesterday, we are going to be working on an ornament very similar to this one. It kind of looks quilted, but it's actually no-sew, and it's very simple to make. I learned this a long time ago, but I'm going to more or less walk you through how it's done. It's not going to be a step-by-step tutorial. However, if you would like a tutorial, please let me know, and I will be more than happy to make it for you. Quick recap, we made this one yesterday. I do have a work party on Thursday, and it is an ornament exchange party. So that is what we are doing these for. Before we get started, if you haven't already, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. Turn on the notification bell. That way you'll be notified every time I upload a video. And if you like this video at any point, please feel free to hit that like button. It costs nothing and it helps out tremendously. So let's go ahead and look through some fabrics and we'll see what we find. So I had mentioned previously, I already made this one in Christmassy colors, which is the green, the red, the whites. So I wanted to make the next one a little bit more of our school colors. Now our school colors are blue and yellow. There is a variety of different blues. And I have to keep in mind that I'm trying to keep it gender neutral because I don't know who's going to receive these ornaments. So I can't make it super girly or I can't make it super masculine because again, I don't know who these ornaments are going to, who they're going to go to. So I have yellows. They're pretty straightforward yellow. I have one that is a little bit darker. This one's a little bit lighter. So I'm debating, I think I might go with the darker one. However, I do need to iron it. And I don't know if that's something that I want to do right now. So I think I'm just going to go with this one that is not needing to be ironed, simply because it's very similar. I don't think there's much of a difference there. Now, based on blues, I have a lot of options because my favorite color is blue, so I collect blue fabrics. I think I want to aim more towards like a light blue. This one is a little bit too green, and I know it doesn't seem like it on camera as much, but compared to, let's say, this one, right? If you look at this one here, you can see a little bit of a difference where this one is bluer and this one is a little bit greener. So I'm going to put this green one aside. However, I do have this one, and I also have different shades of blue. Our school has used all of these different types of blue, and honestly, I really wanted something that was a little bit more contrasting. So I really liked this shiny one, which is kind of what I'm aiming towards. But however, I also do like this dark blue one. Dark blue isn't really seen as much as a royal or a light blue. So I'm going to set that one aside for now. And I'm going to try to figure out, I had this Christmassy one, which is snowflakes. But again, I think it's a little bit too on the gray side. So I'm going to discard that one as well. Now, if I knew that a female was going to take it, I would probably go with this one. So some of these fabrics are fabrics that I bought at Joann's before it ran out or before it closed. So I wish I could tell you where to get them. However, I don't know anymore. I don't know. I know Walmart doesn't have them. Walmart has a very weird variety. I do find a few like these I found at Walmart, and they're just like the fat squares that you get. The jelly rolls that I got are all from Joann's as well. And then I have a few other like fat quarter squares that I got. However, because we're a school, you know, education and stuff, I know Dr. Seuss is a huge part of what we do. So so these are the fat quarters that I have that I haven't particularly used, but they're there. So I was debating because I have these two that I could use and they're very predominant, but I think I want to stick with something that is more blue and not so much of the Dr. Seuss colors that we see. So now I have a dilemma. This one, I have this one, I have this one, I have this one, but I think this one is a little bit more flowery. So I'm going to discard this one simply based on, I don't know who's going to take it, right? I have this one that is snowman, which I was kind of leaning towards simply because, well, Christmas, snowman, right? And then we have this blue shiny one. So the way that I was wanting to do it, you need 3 different colors. If you see here, I have the center in dark blue. I have a different one here, and then I have a light blue on the edge. I was thinking of doing blue, yellow, blue. However, which blues am I going to use is the question. I was thinking of doing, because if I do the solid colors, then I would have to be like this blue, and then the yellow, sorry, and then this blue is kind of what I'm going towards. Or this one in the center, that is the shiny, and then probably this one or this one, something more solid. What to do, what to do. Or should I do the yellow and do 2 layers of yellow and then the blue, which might also be an idea. Let me play around with the idea, and then once I decide, I'll bring you guys back so we can start cutting our squares. So I think I've made a choice. I'm gonna go with the darker. I was looking at the logo of the colors of our school, and this kind of resembles it a little bit more. So I'm gonna go center, then I'm gonna go second layer, and then this is gonna be our 3rd layer. All I need to do is cut 2.5-inch squares, 4 for the center, and then 16 for the remaining. 8 for the center and 16 for the remaining. So I'm going to go ahead and turn you guys over so you guys can see how I'm cutting them. And I'm going to be using my square to help me cut. I do have my rotary color cutter, and I'm just going to measure it and then cut them, and then we'll move on to the next step, and I'll show you what comes next. Alrighty, so I have cut the blue, the middle ones. However, in digging through my stash, I found these. And I love the color. It goes with this one, kind of, but I still like it. So I'm going to leave the 8 for the center. I'm going to do the 16. This is going to be the outside, which is these right here. And then the yellow is going to be the second row here. So we're going to go ahead and continue cutting the yellow, and then we'll cut this one. And yeah, we should be ready to start assembling. All right, so the next thing we have to do is I'm going to fold my squares into 4, and it's going to be the same for all of them. I'm going to start with the center ones simply because, well, that's where our ornament begins, right? So you fold it, and you're going to press this little corner as much as you can because this is where you're going to insert on the wrong side these straight pins, right? As soon as I can get them open. There we are. And we're going to insert it directly into the corner that we just marked. Like this. Now, you're going to need your styrofoam ball. This is a 3-inch styrofoam ball. And the first one is the easiest, honestly, because you're just going to stab it wherever. Okay? We're going to fold it in half, and then right where the pin is, it's going to help us fold our little corner like this. So you are going to need a lot of straight pins simply because they're going to help you just hold the material where it needs to stay. You won't see the pin heads because they get trapped and hidden with the rest of the fabric that you're using, like this one. If you notice, you cannot see. The only ones that we can see are the ones for the outside here and here, where it's where I'm using to hold this little ribbon. But other than that, you're not able to see any of the straight pins anywhere because they're all hidden within the same fabric. So right now we're working on this part right here. So I'm going to do the same thing for all 4 of them. Just going to go ahead and stick it here. The styrofoam was a little bit harder, but there we go. We got one there. You don't have to make a hole in it. Just put it in as far as it goes. Continue. Next one. There we go. Here. And I'm going to use 2 more to help secure these little corners over here. There we go. We're going to secure these corners over here. Okay. And we do the next one right here. There we go. So now I'm going to grab the other part of the center. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to fold it into 4. Now the cuts, as you saw, don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be super, super, super specific and precise. As long as you have a square, grab your pin. I'm going to insert it into the middle. And I'm sorry for this lighting. I am using my room light. So now this one is going to be going across from where the first pin that you put. So I'm going to put this one right here. And again, I'm going to lay it flat because this corner of the pin should be exactly where we just put our first corner. So I'm going to straighten it out a bit, just making sure that it follows that same line. I do one side, we do the other, like this. And if you notice, it's going to follow this straight line. Right. Don't pull it too much because then you're going to start with the head of the pin is going to go through the fabric. So it doesn't, again, it doesn't have to be super, super pushed back. Just as long as it's holding, we're going to find the pin, shimmy it in there once, shimmy in the next one. And we're going to do this corner here and the next one. So I'm going to go ahead and continue, or the last 4 pieces, right? And the reason we're doing 8 is because if you notice, this is only going to cover half of the side. So you're going to have to do the same thing to the other side, right? That is why we cut 8, 16, and 16. You need 4, 8, and 8 on one side, and then 4, 8, and 8 on the other side. But I'm going to go ahead and continue working on this one, and I'll bring you guys back when we start our next layer. Alrighty, so now that we have finished the initial four, I haven't pinned down these corners yet. I will eventually, but sometimes you can save pins by overlapping. Or the ones that overlap, all you have to do is just put a pin over that. So what we're going to do next, again, same step, fold it into four, find the corner, I'm just kind of focusing specifically on that corner just to have it marked. Grab more pins and put it right there. And now the location on it for it on the ornament is going to be in these lines here. And again, it has to follow the straight line. And it's about the same distance that it was for these ones. So if you notice here, everything is about 1/2 inch. So I'm going to do the exact same thing. Does it have to be exact and precise? Absolutely not. I'm just holding it here at the half mark. You have this mark, this is the half mark right here. So I'm just holding it to know more or less where to insert the pin, which would be at this corner right here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to insert it, move this, have that there, and then again, it's just making sure that it follows that straight line that we already have. Right there, and now I'm going to use the few pins to be able to pin these down. As many as I need to now pin all of them. So if you notice here, if I pull this down, the pin that I'm going to insert in this little corner right here is going to help to hold this corner over here, which would be right about there. And now I've pinned this edge here and this one here. We are going to put one more layer of fabric over it. So it's not super urgent to pin all of these down. And you'll kind of see as you go through what needs to be pinned and what doesn't. So again, this one I'm just going to tuck here under, because once I put the pin where my thumb is, it's going to hold this remainder of the fabric for the other one. I'm going to grab the pin here, and I'm going to insert it here, and it'll hold this corner as well. So I'm going to go through, do the rest of this, and then I'll bring you guys back for the final layer on this first side. You notice the background is still completely white, and we still need to make sure that we complete these exact same thing, but on this side. So I have now finished the yellow ones. And as you can see, it's starting to take a little bit of shape, right? I know it looks a little bit rough on the edges, but that is fine. That is okay. So what we're going to do now is start with our third layer. And it's the same thing, fold it into four, find the middle. And now we're going to be inserting into these lines right here that we have made with the previous squares that we put. So again, me, just because I like to have it the same length, I'm going to go back and I'm going to measure 1/2 inch one more time. And I am going to start with the lower levels, which is what I did first, or the lower layer, sorry, which is the ones that I did first. So I'm going to do about 1/2 inch. And again, this is my 1/2 inch mark right here. And now my pin should be somewhere about there. All right. And I'm going to do the exact same thing, flip it around and make my line follow this line that I have here. So now I should have a straight line going from the middle all the way down. And you're going to do the exact same thing for every little square that you have, which should be a total of 8. I usually like to do one and then this side, and then I'll do this side, and then I'll do this side. But you guys can go however you want. I just like to make sure that I keep my layers the same. So if you notice, I did the 4 in these 4 first, and then I did the outside. So I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to do these 4 first, which are my lower layers, and then I'll put the other 4 on top of this one. The only thing remaining to do now is to cover up this seam with some ribbon. And if you notice, mine wasn't perfectly symmetrical because some part of it is a little bit wider than the other part. But you know what? That is perfectly fine. It does not matter. I'm just going to cover it with some ribbon. So what I wanted to do is I do have this blue ribbon that kind of goes well with what I already have. So I think I'm going to layer this ribbon with some yellow ribbon that I had here. Where did it go? Right here. So this one is a little bit see-through. Obviously, that's why I wanted to layer it. Or I have a ribbon that's a little bit more on this darker side, but it has some glitter. However, I'm not a super fan of the texture of this ribbon. It seems very paper-like, and I don't like it as much. So I'm going to see what I decide to do, which of these I decide to use. Maybe just move the camera a little bit. So we have this one. I do want to use the yellow as well. So I have some that's already open. What I might do, I'm still debating. So I obviously want to put the thicker ribbon around this edge so it can cover as many of the pins as possible. And I may have to do a bit of rearranging around to see which one might be better. Now let's try this one. So again, I want to get the edges, any edges possible, as well as any pins that might be visible. And again, I may have to do some rearranging of the pins just to see what looks better. Again, all I'm doing is just finding a way to cover the edges up. That doesn't look too bad. But let me play around a little bit with the colors, and then once I decide, I will bring you guys back. Alrighty, friends, we are back, and we have completed our ornament. I went with the light blue ribbon just to kind of match. All I did was I put the bottom pins here, and I added this little strap up top. This is where it's going to hang, and I just added a cute little bow. But I really liked how it turned out. Really liked the choosing of the colors and everything. But yep, that's going to be it for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please make sure you hit that like button. And if you haven't already, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.